This is a set of Headliner, Hong Kong's most popular satirical news program. People say it has a lot in common with The Daily Show in the US.
People are looking to their leaders for reassurance and answers. Unfortunately, we have him.
Like The Daily Show's Trevor Noah, the show's host Sang Chi-ho pokes fun at politicians.
覺得習大大真係支持哀家，講係咯，習大大講到明咧，又欣賞你嘅工作，又體諒你嘅付出。
Correspondents on both shows feature in sardonic music videos.
明明夠票，點解最後輸了？
And both shows have been intensely covering harsh police tactics in their respective regions of the world. But recently, there's been one drastic difference.
Daily Show, they will criticize or they will attack Donald Trump very directly. If we do it just like The Daily Show, we will get tons of the complaint letter.
In May, an episode mocking police for hoarding personal protective equipment amid the pandemic got the show suspended.
Champagne. Our program always make trouble. I don't think we will come back because the government want our program to disappear. There is no more headliners.
The show's suspension is the latest example of how Hong Kong, under pressure from the Chinese government, has been chipping away at the territory's free speech. And now Beijing has proposed a national security law as a way to quell anti-government protests that tore through the city last year. The passage of the law could affect not only a cast of comedians, but the future of the global city.
The freedom of speech in Hong Kong is not endangered, but I think it's already that. Last 2 episodes, so I treasure every minute or every second.
Sang Chi-ho and his partner Chi-sum often dress up as a Chinese general and an empress.
She represents the leadership in Hong Kong. She always shows she's stupid. Yeah.
The show has always taken a sharp look at the news since its creation in 1989, covering Chinese pro-democracy activists during the Tiananmen Square protests, something TV channels in the mainland didn't dare cover.
做咗特區嘅人民啦，有時聽到唔啱聽嘅嘢呢，我哋就當自己係貝多芬，聽唔到。
Headliner's main appeal since the start is that it's been a show for the Hong Kong people. And that was never more true than when the UK handed over the city to China.
1997, that is a very crucial moment for Hong Kong. Our program, we are not stand with the UK government or the Chinese government. We stand with Hong Kong people. We try to express our worry about our future.
This past year has been a busy news cycle, with battles between anti-government protesters and police that rocked the city, followed by the coronavirus pandemic. Sang says the show had to become sharper than ever before. In the episode that got the show suspended, a policeman jumps out of a garbage can. The sketch goes on to criticize the Hong Kong police for having more protective gear than other frontline agencies and medical workers fighting the coronavirus.
呢一套保護衣咧，喺武漢好多醫護人員可能連摸都未摸過㗎。
After the episode, the broadcast regulator gave the public television network that airs Headliner a warning for denigrating and insulting the police. Then the government ordered the network to conduct a full review of its editorial process and apologize. Soon after, the network issued an apology and said it would suspend the show.
Hong Kong people, we are powerless. We always think that we can't change our political system. What we can only do is we want to try to make fun. We want to express our feeling.
The show's suspension isn't the only example of how Hong Kong's free speech is being eroded. The same month, China announced it would pass a new national security law in Hong Kong. Yi Jian is a lawyer and professor who studies internet censorship in China. And this is the resolution Beijing approved in May.
I just say something positive about Hong Kong independence. That might be viewed as a violation of the national security law. So that is a major harm to freedom of speech in Hong Kong.
Lee says the proposed legislation lays out threats to national security as separatism from China, terrorism, aiding foreign interference, and subversion.
It's actually very, very ambiguous. So it's very possible that the court might interpret the law widely to include a lot of behavior which used to to be protected by the freedom of speech. Now with the law, people don't want to be put in prison.
Free speech has long been a pillar of the one country, two systems model, based on Beijing's pledge to allow Hong Kong to keep its own laws while still being a part of China. But that system has been under threat. The first signs emerged in 2015 when booksellers critical of Beijing were detained. Then last year, a bill was proposed that would have allowed people in Hong Kong to be extradited to China for trial. This brought protesters out onto the streets. Lee says the proposed national security law could further jeopardize one country, two systems. Many multinational corporations, major news organizations, as well as think tanks and NGOs that value free speech and see Hong Kong as a gateway to China are based here. And Lee says this has helped the city become a global business hub.
These headliners, they are pretty influential, so it's possible that they might be held liable under the law.
We are a very free society, so for the time being, people have this freedom to say whatever they want to say. But ultimately...
Meanwhile, the leader of Hong Kong says that the law will actually allow the territory to remain a free society, and that national security is a top priority, given how what she calls riots have roiled the city. With the show suspended, Song decided to trade in his costume for a helmet, a gas mask, and a press card.
They're demanding Hong Kong independent. The government just push them to this way.
He's trying a new venture, documenting Hong Kong's issues as a YouTube vlogger. For Song, creating a new show from scratch isn't the same as having the financial backing of a big network. Even so, he says, he will continue in the spirit of headliner, using his shows to make the voice of Hong Kongers heard. And that will test the government's promise that Hong Kong will remain a free society.
History tells us that in China, everything, if the government, they don't like you to say, they don't like you to do, they can counter you against the national security law.